Hello and welcome to CashPeek. Today we're going to talk through livestock schedules. So we can see here when you land on CashPeek, we go up to the top of the page and we have a button called Livestock Schedules. When you click that button, that's going to take you to the information page, which has all the information about how to use our new feature. You can also get there through the information tab. So if you go to the left hand side and click info and then click livestock, schedule livestock, you can then see the information page that we have here. And this introduces you to creating enterprises, adding classes to that enterprise, adding outcomes, so trades, costs, productions associated with those classes, and also creating a schedule. So if we just dive straight into it, if I go back to the home page and start by going through to my business setup, I can see I now have a new option here called enterprises. And within that, I can choose the option to create. So if I click create, I then have this option of kind. So at the moment we only have livestock. So we click livestock, then we select the type. For this one, I'll create sheep. And for this, I'll just call it sheep demo as the name of the enterprise. So we create this new enterprise, save new enterprise, and we can see that we are taken through to this page here. We have add sheep demo class at the top, sheep demo and the setup. And all of the default classes that have been loaded in for the type of sheep. So we have mated ewes, ewe hoggets, etc., etc. So I can come into here and see that a lot of these trades have been applied by default, so the sales and purchases. I can also see that shearing and mulesing and freight has been applied for the costs. And then also for productions, we have wool here. We can see as a default that tags hasn't been applied. And we can go into here to see how these outcomes are created. So if we go into the setup, we can see we have all the outcomes here. So we have the trades, the costs, the productions. And we can see, say for shearing, that is 97% of the start count. And if we go into setup, we can reconfigure that, so we can change that to say 94%, and we could even add a term and say we're also going to have some purchases and we're going to be shearing 80% of those. Cool, and then save those changes. If we look at the tags, just to look at the difference, we can see that the default isn't set for this. Whereas for the shearing, we had a default set, which is why when we go back to the classes, this was applied by default. But say we wanted to have for the ewe lambs, we're going to be tagging those lambs. So we want to apply this outcome. Then we click on the outcome in gray, turn it on. And then once it's on, we can set up a population formula for how this is applied to this cost from what numbers you put into the schedule. And then submit that, get out of there. And you can also come in here and delete these classes and edit the classes. So if for say rams, we didn't want that. So we're just like, right, that's a default, but I don't want that. So you come in here, delete the rams class. We don't want cull ewes, let's delete that as well. So we're left with these classes. We can also add a new class, let's call it demo ewe, and save that in there. And that comes in with all of the defaults. And then we have the birth formula and the death formula here. So say we do have births for this, so we can add in a birth of say 180% of the stock count. Perfect. Cool, so now we have our sheep demo enterprise set up with all the classes and the trades, cost and productions associated. Just for an example, actually, let's for demo ewe, let's say change this to be 80% of the stock count, whereas the other ones for wool sales have 97. And let's also add a month allocation. So this is how we're allocating what you put in the schedule across your budget months. So let's say in March we have 20%, and let's say in June we also have 20%. Cool, and then let's submit that. Okay, now let's go back to the business